Hello and welcome to One Storyteller, where we are telling a different story this time. I'm Reagan,
I'm Andrew.
and we're not talking about Fellowship of the Ring this week. We finished that last week and decided to instead talk about Interstellar as a movie, just to get a little bit of a palate cleanser before we go right into the Two Towers. So, this is your favorite movie.
No,
Oh,
I like it a lot. I think
Okay.
it's a good movie,
okay.
but it's it's up there. I always enjoy watching it.
It's his favorite movie.
No,
How many times have you watched it?
I think only like 4 times.
4 times. Okay. Yeah, I think I've seen it 4 times too. I think
Okay.
this one was my 5th time.
Yeah, Nolan
Maybe.
movies, Christopher Nolan. Those are usually pretty good,
Usually, yes.
and I think this one is one of
Also good.
one of the very good ones.
Do you think it's one of his better ones, or do you just like it as opposed to other regular movies?
Oh, we were talking a little bit about this. We both like The Prestige the best.
Yes.
As like Nolan, it's like Nolan movies
Peak.
with cool twists and fun surprises, but like still maintain like thought-provoking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not just spectacle, even though he's like very good at that as well.
Yeah. There's enough spectacle in the Prestige for it to be cool, but it's also very personal,
It is,
which I like.
Yeah.
It is a great movie, but we don't get to talk about a great movie today. We just talk about
Next time,
Interstellar.
I guess.
But
But Interstellar is different than a lot of than every other Nolan movie I've
it's
watched.
in space.
Yeah, well, that's not why it's different.
Yeah, that's true.
This is like a very emotionally honest movie. Like I've seen people complain and praise the movie for it wearing its heart on its sleeve. No matter how you think, or no matter what you think about it, I think that is an accurate statement.
Mm-hmm.
People complain about it being corny, clumsy, or even cringy at times. Those aren't all exactly the same, but I think they're all responding to the same elements of the movie. I love Star Wars, so I like clumsy movies.
Specifically with like dialogue is that where it comes
Dialogue
from?
and even like being heavy-handed with different themes.
Yeah.
Star Wars isn't always like that, but maybe more often than not. We'll have to talk about Star Wars at some point. But
Star Wars is dope, but it's not Shakespeare, shall we say?
sure,
Yeah.
we can accept that for now.
Yeah. Interstellar is interesting. I will grant it is fun to watch up until a point, but I feel like story-wise it does fall apart a little bit towards the end, and it raises interesting questions, but I don't think it has clear answers that it wants to put in there. That's my stance as we're going into this.
Okay.
To talk about this, you can change my mind if you want to.
Yeah, I guess all I will say is that's true for some of the side questions, I think,
Yeah.
but not for the main question.
I think it's true for the main question.
Interesting.
That's the
Okay.
thing. So we're totally going to spoil Interstellar,
Yes.
by the way. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. It's worth watching.
Yeah, this is a episode for people who are familiar with the movie.
It's even if it is a little bit confused, even if you grant me that, it's pretty, and the soundtrack alone is worth hearing. So
Yeah.
like,
and I guess if you're saying stuff like that, I will say, I think it's pretty clear, and definitely very thought provoking.
Yeah.
And you may cry,
perhaps.
as some people on this podcast have done in response to
Yes,
this
sir.
movie.
Honestly, I was not vibing with half of it, but like the emotions still hit, which is very impressive. He knows what he's doing in terms of making a film.
Yeah.
Making moments in that film. I just didn't think it stitched together as cohesively as I wanted it to. So go watch it. There's a bit of profanity in it, so if you're sensitive to that kind of thing, find a way to filter it. But it is
that's right.
It is a decent watch. It's a good Friday night activity or whatever. Is that what people do on Friday nights?
I mean, if they're gonna do it on any night, probably Friday night.
Fair enough. Thursday night is right out, as the British would say. So we're going to spend probably 2 episodes on this. The first episode, this episode, will be talking about an overview of the story and kind of just going beat for beat, scene by scene, thinking about the different elements that go into the story. And then the next episode will be more of a thematic analysis and talking about some of the themes and how you see those play out. So we're not exactly sure, because all we've done up to this point is Fellowship of the Ring, and it's a little bit different.
Guinea pig episode.
So we'll see if this is good or not. Maybe it merits a remaster in 10 years or whatever it might be. So, in 10 years, assuming we're both still alive and still doing this, perhaps. So, movie starts with a flashback from some old people who are talking about life on the farm, like life on Earth as it used to be. The situation they used to live in. And they start talking about this guy named Cooper. He is a farmer. He loves farming, apparently. And before that, he was an astronaut of some sort, I think. Yeah, it shows him like in a spaceship.
Because he's having a dream.
Yes.
A nightmare.
Yes. He used to be a pilot, ended up getting out of that for some unspecified reason, and at that moment, and he becomes a farmer, and the world has some problems. There's a lot of dust, and there's a blight thing that is killing crops, and so every few years, Earth loses another set of crops, and the whole world is basically on a timer to die at some point, is the setting for the movie.
Yes. I kind of like how it feels very seamless, how you're able to come right into the world with its problems.
Mm-hmm.
We're not told like a lot of specifics about anything.
Yeah.
But you understand like the important parts here.
Mm-hmm.
Humanity's on a timer. This is what the Earth looks like. The visuals there are all very bleak and striking.
Yeah.
We hear about wars and stuff before that, like later on, but it provides a nice, comprehensive enough picture without getting stuck in details, like some movies are tempted to do.
Yeah, there's the overall picture, which is Kansas has been invaded by sand, and there's the personal problem that is there is a ghost in their house. And that's introduced right in the opening scene.
Yeah.
So there's the large conflict, there's the small conflict, and both of those are going to be driving forces for the rest of the film. The dust is the problem, and the ghost is, in many ways,
the big
solution.
Nolan mystery. Yeah.
And
it's kind of solution.
Mm-hmm. There's a scene where they go to school. That happens. The movie starts, as much as it is a space movie,
it's like 40 minutes on Earth.
Yeah.
Like over a third?
Mm-hmm. Or right about a third. Yeah. Where they're not actually in space, which is a choice. It's fine.
I think it's good.
I think it's a little boring, but I think they could have done it in 30 minutes instead of 40.
Sure. You can always say it could have been done differently.
Yeah.
But I do feel like the time is well used. We're taking time to experience what Earth is like, and we're seeing our just about everyone in our cast in the movie interacting, and specifically Joseph Cooper, mostly known as Coop in the movie. Okay. Yeah. And his daughter, probably a war crime to name your daughter this,
Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably a war crime. Okay.
But anyway, like, I do think it's important that we spend time establishing like their love for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we see he loves his whole family. He cares about his planet, his people. But the movie is unapologetically mostly about him and his daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. There are hints in the second scene as they're driving to school and their truck runs into a flat tire, and this is where they see like a drone, and so they drive through a cornfield. Oh, that's a thing.
With cool space music. Yes.
Yes. And there are hints throughout that Cooper is not always going to be there to help them.
Yes.
Which is a thing that they're laying out from the very
Pretty
beginning.
on the nose, yeah.
Yeah. His son is the one who has to patch the tire. He lets his daughter drive the drone by herself. And there's a very specific shot that calls that out. Mm-hmm. He lets her do it by herself so that, they learn to be self-sufficient because he isn't going to be there. The point of the movie is he's not going to be there. And so we're exploring.
That's a big part of it.
Why that happens and then what happens as a result of that.
Yeah.
In many ways. They get to school. Murphy is in trouble at school, and Tom is not good enough to go to college. Yeah. And so his dad's angry about
Coop, he's going to be a good farmer.
Yeah. Tom is Cooper's son,
yes.
By the way, just to make that clear.
Yeah.
So his son is not good enough to go to college. He's going to keep being a farmer, and Cooper is disappointed by that. Mm-hmm. He wants grander plans for his family than just being stuck here.
Earth doesn't need engineers, needs farmers.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see like a pretty obvious implication that they're only letting really, really talented or really driven people go into higher education.
Yeah. And there's a valid point there because
sure,
some people are not meant for higher education. And when Cooper asks Tom about it later, Tom likes farming. That's what he's grown up with. That's what he's familiar with, and that's what he wants to do. And so, fair enough. Cooper has grand plans for his family, but his family doesn't want it.
Yeah, I think that's like a small blink and you'll miss it moment, but it shows some fatherly maturity. Mm-hmm. It's like, you don't have to be a clone of me. I just want you to do good at what you're driven to do. Yeah. And overall, I think that's pretty admirable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we need people who are willing to just do stuff they're good at instead of trying to please other people and trying to be what other people want them to be. Sometimes, there's an element of good in that. Murphy brought an old textbook to school.
Yes.
Which is propaganda because it talks about the moon landing. I didn't say that. The movie said that. I can neither confirm nor deny if that's accurate or not. But there's this whole
99.99%.
Yeah, we probably didn't do it, but
that's not what I said.
We can disagree on that. You can hold your 0.0100001% viewpoint.
Oh,
fine.
Goodness.
The point is basically the government has restructured the textbooks to not talk about that because the stars are irrelevant.
Which is classic propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want people to worry about going to space. We need people to want to be farmers.
Yeah.
And that's fine for Tom to want, but you can see the manipulation going on in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see, Mr. Cooper takes that personally.
Yes. Yeah. Cooper is one of those guys who is always dreaming of going somewhere and doing something grand. And his complaint, even in the next scene after they get back home, he's talking to, I think, his dad?
His father-in-law.
Father-in-law? Okay. He's talking to Donald, that guy, and saying, we were meant for more than just living here on the dirt and working in the dirt. We were meant to look to the stars and go and do something. Mm-hmm. And so he is going to, in fact, look to the stars and go and do something is the point of the movie. Let's see, there's some weird things happening at his house when he gets back. All of the combines are surrounding it. There's some kind of anomaly in his house, which will continue to be relevant later. There's a ball game they go to. And at any point, if you have things to add in, then by all means interrupt. There's a ball game they go to. While they're there, a big dust storm arrives, Murph left her window open, and so a bunch of dust comes in the room, and it falls in set lines.
Yes.
It's like, that's weird. But the answer is it's gravity. And that's just kind of a thing for this movie.
Yeah. Well, I think like they say it really quickly, and you kind of take their word for it because Cooper is a scientist. He's an engineer, and it makes sense. It's like some pretty intense gravitational anomaly.
It's something that doesn't explain why it's in lines.
No, that's what makes it an anomaly.
Yeah, she's like, it's gravity, and I'm like, what? And then they just move on and don't talk about it. But the lines that get originated, the lines are binary code that give them coordinates to arrive at an old base, an old military base, essentially.
Yeah, it's the NASA hideout.
It is. They're not supposed to be there, but the ghost told them to go and be there, and so they're there. While they're in that facility and they're talking with people, they meet a bunch of scientists who are building a rocket currently. They're not really, like, the American tax dollar would not approve of that right now because everybody is struggling to eat.
Yes.
But rockets are cool, and so they build a rocket. Anyway, they want to explore the stars. And basically the point is, all of the people who are scientists know that life is not going to exist on Earth for a while. Like, it's going to be impossible for life to continue existing on Earth. The last of their crops will die out in a few years, and then they won't have anything. And so humanity will die, and they don't want humanity to die.
Starvation and then suffocation after that.
Yeah.
Inbound.
Wonderful. Very pleasant. There are two plans for preserving humanity.
Yes.
One of them is getting a rocket, and it's called Plan A. It is to get a rocket and load up people on it and then shoot them off into space to go land on a planet somewhere. And then they'll colonize that, and that'll become the new Earth. Then there's Plan B, which is to load up a bunch of, like, fertilized eggs and essentially, I think that's the Plan B.
That's Plan B. Plan A, though, is not what you said.
Is not?
No. Plan A is for Dr. Brand to solve a gravitational equation to allow this huge space station they've built that is dependent on... It's one of those things that's not really dug into a lot. But it says, if we solve this equation, I can make this space station powered by gravity, basically. We can evacuate everybody.
Yeah. So load up all the people onto a space station and then shoot it off.
Oh, that is what you said.
I thought that was what I said. Okay, cool.
Yeah. But you just brushed over the whole gravity thing. I thought that was important.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a gravity thing. This movie has a weird thing with gravity.
It's the only thing that... It's one of the only things that transcends space and time.
Apparently it is. Pseudoscience is what it is.
Well, gravity does do that.
I'm sure it does. Yeah. We would not know, but I'm sure it does.
Well, it does.
Okay, yeah. Sure, whatever. Hand wave the science stuff. It doesn't really make sense.
The movie moves into science fiction territory. Yes. But the way... This is a big tangent. I'm not qualified to talk about it.
Okay.
But, like, people who are qualified, like, gravity does do whack stuff.
It does do whack stuff?
It does bend time. It does do weird things like that.
Yes. That's true.
So there's a pretty solid basis, like, for the fiction in this science fiction.
So if you're fat enough, you can affect the past because you have enough of a gravitational pull to change some things.
Oh, my goodness.
I guess that's why your future comes much quicker. Never mind. So basically, Cooper, they're going to shoot off an exploratory rocket to go and find a habitable planet. While they're gone, the Professor Brand, is going to, that's Alfred from Batman, is going to find a solution to the gravity problem and actually, like, launch the space station, and then the space station will follow them to the new planet. and colonize the planet.
Yeah.
I think it's the plan.
So
okay.
They scouted a suitable environment for
Yes.
gravity station to go to.
Yes. Cooper, since he was a cool pilot, they ask him if he wants to be the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And since he wants to go off flying in the stars, he says, sure, that's cool. He's kind of, like, there's more to it than that. Because.
Yeah. And this is sort of the heart of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. His everybody's going to die if they stay on Earth.
Yeah.
And so if he wants to save his children and make it where their generation is not the last generation that starves and then suffocates, then somebody has to go off and explore the stars and find a place for them to go to. And so he ends up going and trying to save them by leaving.
Yes.
Is kind of the heart of the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a wormhole that's appeared in the galaxy, not natural, so somebody had to put it there, and it's a way out to a different galaxy. And so they get to go and explore a different galaxy and a few different planets that are possible hosts for humanity.
Yeah. So this is sort of the exposition part of the story, because like Cooper doesn't know any of this that these scientists he stumbles upon. They're like, oh, or Dr. Burns like, I remember you. You'd be perfect for our expedition.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that's mentioned is, I think they said it's 50 years ago that the wormhole appeared. Something like that.
Something like that. It's been a while.
And that's not something, at least in the logic of the movie. I think that probably reflects at least what we know about reality right now. It's like wormholes don't appear naturally, so someone's responsible for that. And then there's like other weird things they've been realizing, and the fact they've seen gravity manipulated is why Plan A is about like the gravity station.
Yeah.
But they just call them they, which is very creative.
Very cool.
But they say they are these weird things we don't know, these fifth dimensional beings who are helping us for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And the implication that the movie moves with, or at least Cooper understands, is that they're the ones responsible for what happened in his house.
Yeah.
He's going to talk like they chose me to come here.
Yeah.
Because like literally there's coordinates to the NASA base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily him coming to that conclusion. It's the scientists coming to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Because
though he does seem convinced by that later on.
He's willing to take up their banner. He's willing to agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is the best explanation for it. But it's the scientists who are like, oh, he's been called to be here. Also, he would be a great fit to be here. And so they put him on the ship.
Yeah.
Murph is angry that Cooper is leaving,
Oh.
naturally.
Yeah.
And so Cooper says bye, and she is not very happy about it. He has no idea when he'll come back, but he promises he'll come back, even though his father-in-law told him not to make promises he can't keep.
Yeah.
Like a minute before that. Oh well. Murph has read the bookcase, and the bookcase says he should stay, and he says, that's nice, dear, and then leaves anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That'll come back up at the end of the movie.
Yeah. And
Curious.
this is just, I don't care who you are, this part's heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the acting here was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Even, I don't know how old she was, but the actress for 10-year-old Murph couldn't have been much more than 10 at most.
Yeah.
Doing a phenomenal job.
Incredible.
Yeah. It's very sad. But there's several important moments there. It's like, well, if she's right about the bookcase, why did he leave? But he just doesn't think that's an option. He's like, my daughter doesn't want me to leave, so she convinced herself that that's what the bookcase says. Yeah. Turns out that's not what happened, but I think it's reasonable to interpret it like that. Donald, his father-in-law, says you got to make things right before you leave. He says Tom understands, but Murph, like you said, Murph feels super betrayed.
Mm-hmm.
And you can understand why she feels that way.
Mm-hmm.
So he's really trying. He feels like he has to do this, and she feels like he shouldn't have to do this.
Yeah.
But here's some of the on the nose things happen in that scene, which is, it says, Murph, your mother told. I can't quite do that.
You don't have to do his voice. It's okay.
No, it's funny. It was fun. It'd be funny though. Maybe later. But he says, Murph, your mother told me that once you guys showed up, that being Tom and Murph, we've become
memories for our children.
Memories for our children. Ghosts of our children's future, I think was another phrase. Yeah, that's pretty on the nose, isn't it?
Crazy.
Spoilers, if you
there.
understand. But so Nolan's like in the midst of this pretty emotional scene. There's some odd phrases, but they contribute to what the movie's trying to communicate. And then there's a very stupid line that you can still understand why someone would say. He says, "I might be your age when we get back," which that's one way to traumatize a child.
Yeah, I would say that though, because I wouldn't be thinking about it.
Yeah, I like to think I would have the awareness not to say that, but I can imagine people who would say that.
It's a joke until you see how seriously the other person takes it.
Exactly.
It's like,
exactly.
Whoops. Been there, done that.
But that's an important point as well.
Yeah. Perhaps he will be slightly older. She will be slightly older when he gets back.
Yes.
And he will be pretty much the same age. So he drives off, goes and takes a rocket. He is with a random black guy, random white guy, and a girl who can't act, and a robot.
Okay.
Those are the squad. I think the white guy's name is Doyle.
Yes.
The black guy's name is Romley, but I only learned that in the second half of the movie.
Okay.
I don't feel like that's very well communicated.
Sure,
Tough.
yeah.
Like,
names aren't the best communicated, I suppose. But yeah, Romley.
Yes.
Doyle dies pretty quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
no, we'll get there in
a
minute.
And the girl who can't act.
It's true.
Is Amelia Brand. So daughter of Dr. Brand.
No, daughter of Professor Brand. She is Dr. Brand. That's how she's known. Her dad is the professor.
Yeah, okay.
She is the doctor. Those are the distinctions they make for some reason. Yeah. Hooray.
Fair enough. Okay.
She also can't act. And she took me out of the movie several times.
Really?
Yeah. I just did not buy any of her performance.
I'm forgetting Cooper's actor's name.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, I don't know how I forgot that.
Great guy.
No,
great actor.
He did. He's a pretty good guy, but he did like a exceptional, phenomenal job. But
she was not his equal. I don't think. Granted, nobody else was his equal. Nobody had to pull the weight he did. But
right. I think she did a good job. I think she was given the line. This sort of jumping around a little bit, but she's given some of the more difficult lines to deliver seriously.
That's true.
I think that's usually. I don't know when you thought she was at her weakest.
Yes,
but so I think that might be the problem. I feel like she did a very good job apart from those moments.
I don't think so, but
yeah, okay,
whatever. It's
whatever. We should say, like, you're talking about them going to space. One thing, just a sequence that needs to be called out, which is a beautiful marriage of acting and just like the pacing for the scenes and the score as well,
Mm-hmm.
is when you're hearing the countdown for the rocket taking off.
Yeah.
While he's driving there in his truck, just
Yeah.
looking completely like he wants nothing more in the world than to turn right around,
Mm-hmm.
but knows he can't.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll talk about this some more in the next episode, but he does have this like desire and excitement for exploration,
Mm-hmm.
like that. The movie makes that very clear, but that is not what drives him to leave Earth.
Yeah.
And you can see that very clearly in that climactic moment and everything leading up to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he likes his family, and that's why he feels the need to leave. He has to leave.
It's a horrible irony.
To help them. So, RIP. We'll talk about that more in the theme section. So, they launch off from space. They dock their shuttle at a space station.
The Endurance.
And they're going to use that. It's like a little space ring thing.
Yeah.
And they're going to use that to take them on their journey.
Mm-hmm.
The shuttle can't make it the whole way, obviously, but the space station can. And so they dock there. They get a second robot. That's cool. They go down for a 2-year-long nap. There's this guy named Dr. Mann who's important and is very cool. He's called out as being important by Professor Brand, and he's called out as being important by Dr. Brand. And I wonder if Dr. Mann will be a major character in any way. Well, yes, he will, but we'll see that a little bit later on.
So there's like several planets. I think I just caught this last time watching it.
Mm-hmm.
There's several planets. But because they're so low on fuel and resources, they said, we're going to go to the place where we can get 3 of them at once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, well, I guess that's something they decide once they get through, actually. But there's information from Dr. Mann and the other people that he led through the wormhole to inspect the various planets.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how that works. Number one, they did not communicate the jump in time very well. The 2 years break between getting on the space station and actually arriving at Saturn. You never see Cooper sleep. He's walking around in one scene, and then he's walking around in another one. And so I don't feel like that was... It feels like he just didn't sleep the whole time.
Oh,
maybe I missed something.
I disagree. I think you must have missed something.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think we see him sleep, but...
Yeah, it just felt like he was there.
There's like a nice big series of wide shots between them.
Yeah, there is. You can record messages and send them over.
Yeah,
that'll become relevant in a little bit. But they get near the black hole on the other side of the galaxy, and the black hole, it looks very nice. It's a space that is outside of 3 normal dimensions, so Cooper can't steer when he gets in there. Apparently, I don't really know how that works.
The wormhole, you mean?
Yes, in the wormhole.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, did I say black hole?
Yeah.
RIP. I wrote black hole. I'm dumb.
Yeah. It's
yes.
confusing.
They get in the wormhole. He has to have a wormhole explained to him, which is bizarre, but whatever. So something appears in the ship, some clear thing, and
something that looks like a hand.
Dr. Brand touches it and says it's a handshake with a 5th dimensional being.
Yep.
And then they get out on the other side. And so they can't steer while they're in the wormhole, and so I assume they just ended up in this galaxy on the other side, and the 3 planets are the only ones within driving distance or something, but I'm not exactly sure how that works.
Right upon like the outset of exiting the wormhole, they have several different options for where to go. Okay. They inspect the data and they say, this is where they make this choice. They say, there's 3 planets that we're getting pretty positive feedback from. Mm-hmm. They're not I don't think they're the only planets that they get positive feedback from, but there's 3 they can test in close proximity. Yeah. And they, thriftily decide that it makes the most sense is to head that way.
Yeah. There's one from Mann, one from Miller, and one from Edmonds. Miller's is closest. Edmonds is furthest. Edmonds is no longer broadcasting a signal. But it was the best in terms of potential. Man is broadcasting a signal, and it is good in terms of potential, but it is the second stop, and so they decide to stop in on Miller's planet first.
And I think they even say he wasn't broadcasting at first.
Is that right? Yeah, that's probably right.
I think so.
Yeah,
and Miller's seems to be broadcasting the whole time.
Yeah, rip that. So they decide to go to this first planet. The Romley decides to stay behind to work on a gravity problem, while some others go down to the planet. The whole bit is this planet is really close to a black hole, and so every hour that they spend down there is like 7 years of real Earth time.
Yeah.
So, yes, they head down to this planet. Their plan is to be there for a few minutes, pick up the scientist, head back up, and then sort through the data when they're on their ship outside of the time slippage thing.
Yes.
That doesn't happen.
No.
They land on the planet, and it's a water planet. Everything is water, like shallow water, but it's all water.
Mm-hmm.
The scientist is not there. There is a bunch of wreckage, and so they find the information, and they realize that a bunch of waves are coming to kill them.
One very big wave.
It is a very tall wave. Dr. Brand will not just cut and run, and she delays everybody else.
Yes.
To the extent that Doyle is killed as he is washed away. Rip that guy.
Yeah.
I think he was in the Hunger Games. I think he's that same actor.
Yes,
yeah.
He was.
What a cool guy. The engines are flooded, and so they can't just leave. And so because she wasted a bunch of time, everybody loses a bunch of time. And losing a bunch of time on that planet means you lose a really long amount of time everywhere else.
Yeah. It seems...
Basically.
Yeah. You understand why she wanted to get that data, but definitely the wrong choice.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's this whole fight in the ship. Cooper does good. She does not. I did not buy it. Very odd conversation that happens. You go from humans aren't like the 5-dimensional beings who are talking to NASA, so there is no going back in time. And then the next line is that Cooper can't tell his 10-year-old daughter that the world is ending. And I feel like there is a section in the conversation that bridged the gap between those two, and it was cut out. And so did not feel like a coherent conversation.
I don't remember
to me.
everything in that conversation.
Yeah.
But I remember that conversation, and I don't remember feeling jarred by that.
I felt very jarred. I went back and watched it 3 times, and I was very jarred every time.
I did not go back and watch it 3 times.
Yeah. That was the first time where I paused and was like, what just happened? Because it just didn't work for me. And maybe it's just because I didn't like her acting, but I also couldn't follow the conversation. So very odd. They finally get back to the main ship, and it's been 23 years.
23.
So Rip Romley is now old, and this is where Cooper has a mental breakdown as he watches his children age very, very rapidly.
His son.
Yeah, he's been receiving messages from Earth, but they can't send any out. And it's been 23 years, and so he gets to watch his son is in high school, and then his son is an adult, and then his son is married, and then his son has a kid, and then his kid dies, and then he has another kid later on. But, that's rough.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and that happens all in the process of like 5 minutes. So
that is
terrible.
Oh, that is not pleasant to imagine.
Yeah. It ends with his son saying this is the last message he's going to send, and
Lois says I need to let go. I need to let go of you. I need to let you go.
Which that actor was in The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Have you seen that film?
No.
That's an incredible movie. I need to show that to you before I leave. Okay. A great time. Terrible, but in all the right ways. Fascinating. So basically his son is not talking to him anymore.
Nope.
And his daughter has never sent him a message until she does, and it's not a very pleasant one because she just kind of hates him.
No, she's got that grudge.
Yeah, which kind of fair. understandable. Cooper tried to save his children, but in the process of trying to save them, he did end up losing them, which is kind of tough. And we'll circle back around to that.
Definitely.
Yes, 23 years on, or 25 years on, I guess, Murphy is helping Professor Brand with the big gravity equation in NASA headquarters, and she can't figure it out, or they can't figure it out. But Murph says, we just need to change how we think of time, and then we'll see if we can figure out the equation later on. You get back into space now after 23 years of hibernation. Their ship no longer has the fuel to check the other 2 planets.
Yep.
And so you have to make a choice between the 2. Edmonds is more promising, but Dr. Mann is still broadcasting. And so, you have to pick between those 2. Dr. Brand says you should go with Edmonds because she's in love with him. And sometimes you should just follow your heart and let your heart tell you what to do instead of your logic.
There's
Cooper says no. Sad.
I feel like that moment, more than any other moment in the film, could have used a couple more passes.
Yes.
The movie is, I don't think it's ever very subtle. Like I feel like it is put together very intricately and well, which there's
for the most
slight
part.
Yeah. But this part here is his point about love, as we'll talk about when we get there in this episode, and especially in the next episode, is very thought-provoking and not shallow.
That's
the movie's point. The movie's point about love is not shallow.
Okay.
But this piece of contribution it almost robs other parts of the movie, because this part is not particularly deep or well thought out, I think.
Fair enough.
It is.
This is the most often criticized part.
Oh yes,
by far.
Oh yeah, even people who really like the movie say this part's kind of iffy.
Who could that be? Yeah.
But there's something here. I think he could have used this to contribute to the theme.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think this was the way to do it.
No, not at all. Not at all. So I say that like I'm qualified to critique, Christopher Nolan, who makes really good stuff generally. I just don't really like this one. So yes, they decide to go to Dr. Mann's planet instead. Cooper decides that.
Yeah. It's interesting because it seemed like Romilly and maybe even Cooper weren't really sure what to like. Cooper thinks Mann's planet is probably the better one.
Mm-hmm.
But Romilly is like, I don't know. And then Cooper says, you should know that Dr. Brand's in love with Wolf Edmonds.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, can't go there.
True.
No, so it's
Aragorn left Arwen hanging for 38 years. So we got to up the year count a little bit before we get them back together.
Oh boy.
That's how it goes. Yeah, so it goes back to Earth. Murph visits Tom, which she barely ever does, and she sees his family is sick.
Yes.
And it's like, the Earth is getting worse. Cool. That's going to be relevant in a few minutes. It goes back to the crew. This is where the movie starts intercutting much more frequently between...
up until the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it starts going back and forth between Earth in the present at this moment. That'll make sense later.
It'll be the present up until
Earth 25 years after Cooper left.
Yes.
Which is equivalent to Cooper after getting off the big water planet.
Yes.
Cooper does some other time-related things, but it never goes past Earth being 25 years after Cooper left. And so you go in there. That's cool. The crew, Brand is mad at Cooper for being more objective, and he says, tough. And she says, I hope you'll be objective when it comes time to not take a trip home to your children.
That was a good point.
Yeah, it was a good point. Good for her to make it. Murphy is called to the hospital and Professor Brand dies.
Yes.
But not before admitting that...
Before quoting his poetry. No, sorry.
Yeah, he always does quote the poetry. But he admits that Plan A never could have worked, and he knew it the whole time. And he was just lying to everybody.
Yes.
And that Cooper was never coming back is basically what he says.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes and dies, which is kind of rude.
Yeah.
And so she makes a video message and sends it out to the crew right as they have left the space station to arrive on Man's planet, which is a funny way to say that. They land on Dr. Man's planet, and so Brand will get the message in a minute or two. It's an ice planet.
Yes. Frozen clouds.
Yes, and
doesn't look super great.
Not from the outside, but they arrive in Dr. Man's area, and they wake him up. It's Jason Bourne. He's there, and he's cool. He got really depressed when he was by himself. Basically, he spent a lot of years doing stuff by himself.
Pray you never learn how wonderful it is to see another human face.
Mm-hmm.
He's not being completely honest, but he's being pretty honest.
That's pretty honest. So he is there. He says this planet is pretty good, and people would be viable to settle on it. This is when Brand gets told that her dad has just died, and also his plan was a lie the whole time. And Dr. Mann knew it, apparently. Like, the point of the plan was never to get the existing people on Earth off of Earth. The point of the plan was to get the fertilized eggs, the Plan B, on the space station to come and find a habitable planet and establish humanity there, instead of actually going back and picking people up. And so, that doesn't... Do we want to talk about how that doesn't make sense here, or do we want to talk about that?
I think we can talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
It is one of the big... Like, this is a climactic moment for some of the main themes in the movie.
Yes.
So it makes sense to talk about. We're not going to talk about it completely here.
Yeah.
But maybe just to lay some groundwork.
I don't think this makes sense.
Which part?
Yes.
Oh, no.
The Professor Brand knowing that humanity... like, he couldn't save people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it makes sense, and I think it clouds the point of the movie, the theme of the movie.
Interesting.
Yes.
I think...
From a character perspective, why is he giving up on humanity? Like, why does the professor just quit and believe that humanity can't survive anymore? He can't save anybody. And so instead he just sends some eggs into space. Yeah. Like, why does he do that?
Well, it isn't as though this equation was always a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he knew that would be the solution, right?
Yeah.
And you get the sense he worked on it for a long time. And then it's like, okay, this isn't going to work.
Well, it's not that it's not going to work, right? It's that he solved the equation, and specifically it's called out, he solved the equation. On Earth, there was not enough data to figure it out, to reconcile relativity and quantum mechanics.
Yes.
Which is just like, I don't know what that means, but okay, sure.
It's a good placeholder.
Science. There's not enough data on Earth. He needed data from the black hole. And he knew that if he could send people through the wormhole to see other things and to investigate the black hole area and then get that data back, then he would have more data.
Mm-hmm.
But his plan was not to send people through to investigate the black hole and bring the data back. His plan was to send people through because they were never going to come back in the first place. And so if he knows there's at least a chance at saving everyone on Earth if he sends them, if he gets more data, I don't understand why he instantly says, well, I won't send them to get more data.
Yes, because Professor Brand is operating more on the science side of the science fiction movie. He knows it's impossible to relay information about a black hole's singularity. Like, this solution can't be solved. He was desperately trying to. But he's like, okay, we just can't do that. Doesn't matter how long you investigate it. Like, Romilly spent 23 years doing that. Remember? Investigating the black hole while they were down on Miller's planet.
Yeah.
It's like, I couldn't learn anything useful for us about the equation or any other data.
Yeah. Not from the outside, but Romilly comes to the realization you can go inside and figure it out.
Yes.
Right.
But we're jumping around a lot now. The robot they send in there can't communicate the data.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they don't know that because they've never tried it before.
Well, they basically do know that.
How do they?
Yeah. The black hole doesn't. It's like a super gravitational nexus.
Yes.
Nothing gets out of there. The robot signals. Nothing does.
Mm-hmm.
So we're sort of stepping on the toes of the climax here.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as anyone can tell, just based off science, you can't get information. A Romilly's solution is like a harebrained scheme. Like, we could get something, maybe somehow something gets out of there.
Mm-hmm.
We might as well try.
Yeah.
But I think it's reasonable to say the professor thinks, okay, he takes it for granted that's an impossibility, which is reasonable. And that's the reason he lies. And this is where Dr. Mann comes onto the field, being like a more overt villainous presence, even though it's born.
He couldn't be a bad guy, could he?
Even though he is carrying forward the same line of reasoning as Professor Brand. And Dr. Mann's like, yeah, that was the plan all along. Didn't you know? Yeah, your dad lied. It's okay. It's fine. Well, he doesn't say it's fine. He says it's unforgivable to betray living humanity like that. And he knew it, but he was willing to condemn himself to save the human race.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think at this point we can talk about more specifics later.
Yeah.
But that's all the pieces that are on the table, you know?
Yeah. That, I don't buy that.
Okay.
I don't think that makes sense.
Gotcha.
And it maybe it is just a confusing conglomeration of how they're using terms, because I think black hole and wormhole are very similar.
No, they're very different things.
Yeah, apparently. But it's, I don't know. They're both circular objects you go into and stuff happens. So I feel like
that's the only point of similarity.
That, I mean, they both mess with gravity and manipulation of space and time. They both mess with. I feel like they're very similar. I don't know. Probably not. Maybe that's just on me, but that doesn't make sense to me. I don't think that he would do that, because we'll talk about it more in the
I think at this
section.
Point we'll talk about it next time.
Basically, there was a betrayal, and Dr. Brand isn't happy about it. So, two different storylines here. You have Murphy driving back to the farm with her doctor friend, who's going to go. Why did you say it like that?
Because they kiss later.
They do indeed. Who's going to go and help save the Tom's family?
Yes,
that's one plot line.
Rescued against your will.
That's called kidnapping. They get in there.
It's based.
They want to take the family away. They don't. Tom says no, shouldn't do that. So Murphy goes and burns Tom's field. So Tom has to go and deal with burning of
distraction.
The fields. And she comes back to kidnap his family and ultimately spend a bunch of time in her room. Which I have my own problems with. But that's one half of the story that's happening. The other half of the story is Dr. Mann is a traitor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole thing basically the plan is Cooper is going to drive the shuttle or the space station back through the wormhole to go back to Earth. And Dr. Mann is going to stay with Brand and Romley and a couple of robots.
Yeah, because this planet's fine. We can stay here.
Allegedly. To do some more things. And so Mann and Cooper go out to set up shop and stake out a couple of locations for research to be done. And this is where Cooper gets kicked off a cliff, basically. They scuffle for a bit, and then Mann headbutts him and breaks his helmet.
Yeah.
And so Cooper starts dying.
There's a 50-50 chance you'll kill yourself. That's better odds than I've had in years.
Yeah. It turns out his planet isn't viable, and he was just lying the whole time.
Falsified data.
Apparently.
Takes
good
a
on
lot
him
of effort.
for knowing how to do that. That's crazy. Probably not good on him.
No,
And,
no, not good on him.
And in the resulting chaos, Dr. Mann takes their shuttle, and they have to make do with his old ship.
Yes.
I think it is. Romley dies in an explosion.
Rip.
Which happens. Okay. Cooper does get recovered, and he makes a full recovery, and Mann goes up to the station to try and dock on it and then potentially leave and go and explore a different planet.
He wants to go to Edmund's planet.
Yeah. When they get in space, very cool scene. Dr. Mann tries to dock and fails, and the ship breaks apart, which gets me every single time. Like, I physically jump every single time it happens.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I never remember.
Exactly.
It cuts him off way too early in mid-sentence.
No, you're right. Okay,
Like
I do jump at that
first
part
word of
too.
his sentence, and it's very sudden because it all goes quiet. It's not like a loud explosion. The audio just cuts.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's very
that
freaky.
part gets me too.
So Mann dies, rip, and then you have Cooper who goes and manages to dock at the space station, which is very cool. It's a very cool looking scene. It's a very cool sounding scene. Excellent. They can't get back to Earth. They lost their they lost their shuttle. They can't actually go back to. They don't have the fuel anymore to go back to Earth because they had to waste it all trying to actually dock or something like that.
Yeah.
And so
It was a pretty intense series of maneuvers.
yeah, they can't go to Edmund's planet. They don't even have the fuel for that anymore. And so instead they use this great plan to use the black hole to slingshot them around to Edmund's planet, and they'll lose a few years, but they'll actually get there.
A lot of years.
Probably. They will actually get there. And so when they go to slingshot around the black hole, they shoot off one of the Ranger units, one of the shuttles with Tars, the robot in it, Rip Tars. He goes into the black hole. And they shoot off the other Ranger unit with Cooper in it, Rip Cooper. He goes into the black hole too.
Yeah. 90% honesty.
So the woman who cannot act made it to the planet on the other side. Then there are these parallels while Murphy is hanging out in her room a lot. She's under a time crunch to get her family, to get her sister-in-law and her nephew.
Just her nephew.
To rescue them so that they can be safe and healthy. And she instead spends a bunch of time in her room reminiscing on what used to happen when there was a ghost there.
Well, that's not quite fair.
Oh, is it not?
No, she had a moment of realization or a suspicion that there's something to be found here.
Yes, she did. And
so,
she was right.
So that she's not just reminiscing. Like, if she, in fact, I don't think she's the kind of person to be driven by reminiscing.
No,
she's trying to figure something out here.
Yeah. I don't really know. That's another story problem.
I started interrupting you, so now I'll finish interrupting you, which is when she was talking to Professor Brand before his sudden heart attack or whatever, his sudden inevitable decline.
Curse the sudden and inevitable betrayal, as they say.
Yes, great line. Well, anyway.
I interrupted you.
So, quid pro quo. That messed me up. No, I got it now.
Yeah.
When she was talking to the professor earlier, apparently that day, or just before that scene at least, she advocates for looking at time differently.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, she's been studying these gravitational anomalies and this equation for a long time, but she had one in her bedroom. So it makes sense that she wants to go back and investigate that.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I was trying to say.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know why she decides now is the right moment for that.
Yeah. I think it's all happening pretty close together, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So she's just found out about the professor's betrayal. She really has a fire lit under her to, like, rescue everybody. And she does, and it's reasonable. She thinks this is connected to finding the solution.
Yeah. That's what defenders want to say.
It makes the most sense.
I don't think it does. I don't think you would do that, right? Her perspective on the drive over has been she wants to rescue her sister-in-law and her nephew. The whole point of getting her brother out of the house is, hey, right, the whole argument that got her kicked out in the first place was she wants to rescue her sister-in-law and her nephew. The whole point of her burning the fields and getting Tom out of the house is she wants to rescue her sister-in-law and her nephew. And then she gets her doctor friends to put those two in the car and then goes upstairs to her room.
Yes.
That sequence of events doesn't make sense to me with how they've laid it
There may be some dramatic reorganizing of how this goes, but I don't think it's that major. I don't think so. Like, it's reasonable for me to say she's planning like a two birds with one stone thing.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the fact that she's only acting on that now, to your point, is like, again, this is happening pretty rapidly for her.
Yeah.
Gotta have some time to think about that, probably.
It would be one of those things where, like, realistically, you wouldn't make a whole fight about the sister-in-law and nephew. You'd say, you know what, let me go research things upstairs. Cool. And then you come down later on, and then you rescue them on your way out. Like, that's what makes sense. And so for the drama of the movie, of course, they have reorganized that to be her. Like, this is the climax of the whole thing, is her rescuing everybody on top of her sister-in-law and nephew. But it feels like climax for the sake of climax rather than that's how the plot would actually
I can
happen.
see what you're saying. That isn't how it really
issue.
strikes me, though. Yeah.
So, whatever. She goes up there, and that parallels Cooper being inside the black hole, which turns out into, I don't know what they call it, like a
Tesseract.
3-dimensional space inside of the 5-dimensional reality.
3-dimensional approximation or something like that.
Yes. And basically it's just Cooper is looking at his
daughter's
don't
like this part.
room from the other side of the bookcase.
Yes.
Which is cool. And so he's the ghost the whole time.
Whoa.
Whoa. No, nobody saw it coming. It was a secret. It's very pretty to look at. I'll give it that.
Really? Okay, interesting.
Yeah. It's interesting to see that kind of idea conceptualized on screen.
Yes. Well, yes, it is.
Yes. The question is, so he's the one who said stay. He was tapping books out of the bookcase to make that message, to try and get himself to stay. And of course, he knows it doesn't work, but he's going to try anyway because he's very
I'd even go so far
moment.
As to say, like, he's not thinking about that at all
not
when
at all.
He does that.
But
Which
he's
is
very
fair.
depressed. Yeah, and then he figures out that he's the one who is actually the ghost the whole time, and he can help them. And so he's the one who puts the gravitational lines on the floor, which solves an earlier question, because it's kind of odd for the ghost to both tell him to stay and tell him where to go to leave. That's a question I had watching through it, but as you get to the end point, you realize he said stay first, and then he realized, no, actually, I need to go. And so he comes back around and solves that problem. That was a cool moment. I was like, that's very cool to watch that happen. And so he decides to encode the black hole data into the movements of her broken watch.
That would have been a doozy to unpack.
Yeah.
No wonder it takes her 60 years.
I guess. I mean, yeah. It's a thing. It's a choice. It happened.
I buy it.
His reasoning for it. His reasoning for encoding it into the watch, because the robot says, "How do you like? Why would she come back for it?" And he says, "Because she loves me, and so she will come back for it." But everything he's seen about Murphy up until this point has been that she has rejected him. Yes. Yes.
No.
Oh, go ahead and make your defense.
No, if she really had rejected him, then she would have said some message like Tom had said. Even if whether he sees that or not, like she would have sent a message like Tom did, like, "Hey, I have to let go of you now. I don't care too much about you now. Just have to move on with my life," Or she wouldn't have sent a message at all and just arrived at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Her anger with him is in partnership with her love for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can see that in the one message that she does send him. Like she's
angry.
She's very angry. But at the end, she breaks. She says, "Now would be a great time for you to come back." She wants him to come back. That's why she's angry.
Yeah.
I think the anger is intention. It's tied very closely to her love for him.
Yeah.
And eventually is eclipsed. Look at me being so poetic.
Yes.
Eventually it's eclipsed by her love for him.
But it's only eclipsed by it because she's in the room and then she realizes it was her dad the whole time.
Yeah, we're stepping on toes of the thematic episode here, but listen to this. So,
by all means, defend it.
It seems crystal clear to me. The Professor Brand leaves her hanging. He dies at a very rude moment.
Yeah.
She says, "Did he know he wasn't going to be able to come back? Did he lie to me?" Because that would be unforgivable.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That would be even a step up from however evil we call Professor Brand. You know? So she's desperate to know that. But the fact that she's trying to find something about her dad and is drawn back to the room where she said goodbye to him is... It's not surprising that she's like wrestling with that question along with how do I save people question in like the same room. She doesn't believe that he would have left her if he didn't think he could come back.
Yes.
All right. So it's not just... I think we've seen that tension in her character.
Yes.
The whole time.
Yeah.
I can believe what Cooper believes. She'll check the watch because she loves me.
I don't think that makes sense. It just doesn't.
It's a leap of faith.
I mean, right. It's built on so many different assumptions. Number one, the assumption that she's going to come back to her house and go upstairs. Number two, the assumption that she's going to take the watch with her because the watch is so important. Number three, the assumption that she actually loves her dad and wants to permanently be reminded of his promise to come back, which is what the watch stands for.
Yes.
Right? Does she always want to be reminded of that? The only thing we've seen up until this point is that she doesn't want to be reminded of that because it's not happening. And it hasn't happened. And we've passed the moment where it could have happened.
Right.
And so the watch is a reminder of the broken promise to her. And so I don't...
No.
To make the leap that your dad must have cared for you and it's the watch the whole time, And then she sees something funky with the watch, and so she takes it back and actually works with it. But it's like, I don't know. It just seems like such a stretch that you need so many things to line up perfectly in order for it to happen. Yeah. And this is a big overarching complaint with the whole Tesseract bit, because it really doesn't make sense. But whatever.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say on that?
I will say one last thing.
Go ahead.
And then I guess we better start wrapping up.
We'll wrap it up. It's very quick after this.
Yeah. I guess the last thing I'll say, and you will hear this again, I think, but you said there has to be a lot of different assumptions. Mm-hmm. And that's not exactly true. Only one of them needs to be true for everything else to fall into place. And that is that not the whole time, but at some point, she will decide to go back. Say, I have faith in my dad, or I love him, or however it is. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to happen when she's 35. It could happen when she's 50 or something like that.
Yeah.
You know? So that seems like pretty reasonable, like to trust in their connection.
But it's not trusting in the connection. It's trusting in her want to go back to her particular room.
Well, but Reagan.
Yes.
Those are connected.
But those are connected, but they're not the same thing.
No, but
I have memories of my parents. I don't go back to my house.
Well, sure.
Like those are two separate different
sure,
things.
But his love for her is also tied to knowing who she is. Mm-hmm. And so when he says she'll do this because she loves me, it feels like it would be very unreasonable to say, well, how does he know she'll do this other thing? Well, it's under that same umbrella. So
yeah,
I find it immensely persuasive.
I find it totally incomprehensible. It is foolishness.
No, it is wonderful.
It is a lovey-dovey picture of love and care for people.
Yeah.
And that's not actually how life works. Like, that's not how people work.
That's why it's a movie. But we'll talk about that more next time.
And that's one of the things that breaks it for me. So,
okay.
I don't really buy the professor bit. Okay. I don't really understand that. And maybe that's just a me problem, but I don't really understand that. And I don't buy this ending.
Sure.
It's very hand wavy, and it works.
People have a lot of different kinds of. I will grant you some percentage of hand wavy.
Yeah.
But people do have a lot of complaints for this. It feels this is like the biggest leap into science fiction in a otherwise fairly grounded movie. Not perfectly grounded, but fairly grounded. Impressively so, I think we can say.
And it's not like I'm behind the science fiction stuff. The thing that is the most science fiction for me is how her love works.
Yes. I think that
it's fiction. It's science fiction. It's not how it actually works. So that's where I end up at the end of it. The problem is solved. He gets the information across. The Tesseract is closed.
So she's able to do what Professor Brand thought was impossible.
Yeah, she has all the data.
And he luckily, and his faithful robot TARS, are found drifting in space on the other side of the wormhole.
On the Earth side of the wormhole.
Yes.
Yeah, the wormhole is closed.
Is that right?
I think so, because they close everything up. And so I think the wormhole closes.
I think they were closing the three-dimensional space within the black hole.
They're at least closing the Tesseract, yes.
Okay. Maybe everything.
I thought it was the wormhole too. I'm pretty sure there's a mention of that.
Yeah,
which also
I didn't think so.
Complicates the point. If that's true, that also complicates the point.
We should double check. That's kind of important.
We'll double check that before the next episode, if I remember.
But I think the wormhole's still open.
And he ends up on a space station.
Yeah, that one way or another is heading toward Edmund's planet.
Yes, eventually. And on the new station, he goes and says goodbye to his daughter, Murphy, who is now much older than he is.
112, 120?
Something like that. She's been in cryosleep to keep her alive.
Yeah.
And so she comes out of cryosleep to die. Oh. so that she can see him.
It's
and then
very
he
beautiful.
Leaves and goes out to look for the woman who can't act because she made it to the new planet. And that guy's dead too, but she set up a camp on that new planet. And it looks like there could be life on that new planet.
It does.
So that's cool. She was right the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where it ends. There's the story summary. There's plenty more to say on unpacking the themes and stuff, but there's a basic.
You could tell the hot topics we'll be talking about more next time.
It's advertising for people to tune in on Friday.
That's right. This is the next episode I actually have notes for.
Ooh,
so
exciting. Yeah, you're just sitting there listening. You're like, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for listening to the story. And if you are interested in a more thematic debate-filled episode,
I'm
then
excited.
by all means, we'll talk about that next time.